All right, so here we go. Another day, another reaction. Finally here. Just trying to get some traction so we can hopefully get some action. Sorry, I was trying too hard to rhyme. But we're here. This day we are going to be reacting to two videos. So I'm going to knock these both out back to back. Once again, we're still learning. So technical difficulties may arise. Editing may not be the best, but know that we're really grinding trying to get a foot in the space in the digital realm prior to 2.6. So that way when 2.6 comes out, when the fall off comes out, we're prepared to go ahead and go live. That's the goal, to stream the J. Cole release. But so we're going to build up to it over time. And so that's what we're doing here on this channel first. Remember, we're listening deeper than the speaker or beneath the speaker, trying to really hear that life or death in the words that we're taking into our ear gates. Because remember, the power of life and death is in your tongue, my tongue. So we must guard it and we must be wise with it. And when we listen to other words, we must also understand that if we're out of tune, if we're not in God's will, if we're not understanding his wisdom and having his perspective, we may be deceived. Let's think back to the beginning of time. Eve was deceived by the words of the serpent, not anything else, but the words. So as we listen, we're trying to get deeper or beneath the speaker. So if you're excited, if you're hoping to see more content, if you feel like this is something that someone around you could benefit from, please like, comment, subscribe, share, so that we can get some traction rolling on this channel. Continue to put out some content, continue to seek God together in our journey, in the maturation, and hopefully allow it to get as big as God will allow it to be. The power of life and death is in the tongue, so let's hopefully get it to the point where it's exceedingly and abundantly all we could ever ask or think. This channel, your life, your channel, I just pray blessings over everyone that really is seeking him first in his righteousness, so that all the things can be added unto you. So without further ado, here we are. The fall off announcement. I'm not gonna lie, I messed up 2 recordings earlier, so this is my 3rd time listening to it. So just gonna kind of talk through it, and then we'll get to disc 2, track 2. That one I haven't seen, so that'll be a true reaction, first time. So here we go, let's do it.
Everything is supposed to go away eventually. You see this especially in like show business with famous actors or like musicians. And it's like, oh, this guy used to be famous and then he fell off. What happened? And they want to point to, they did this and they made some sort of mistake. Instead of thinking that, look, it's kind of crazy they got famous in the first place. So few people reach that level that, yes, of course, it's not going to last forever because somebody else has to take that spot. And that's how show business has been since forever. But no, they always want to say, oh, that guy fell off. They want to look down on him for just going through the natural cycle of rising and falling.
All right, so, ooh, okay, I like the little side eye right there where we got the pause. That's actually a pretty good shot, which leads into the discussion of, I've seen one piece of content where someone said that this whole fall off album scheme is a foreshadowing or a predecessor for Drake's album Iceman and the fall off or the exit of Drake from the music world as we know it. So now being here, I forgot what he said in the beginning, but everyone rises and falls basically, but evolution, right? Natural selection, survival of the fittest. At one point, some young being is prepared to overtake the older generation. And it's not because the older generation is no longer relevant. It's just a matter of, hey, there's something new that people are gravitating towards. You still have relevance. You still have your gift. But for right now, or at least at this point, you're a backseat. And I feel like a lot of artists, a lot of people just in general struggle to accept this. I mean, I even struggled with it myself when I was going through various things in my adolescent, early adult life, my aspirations. And it put me in a position where I realized, hey, man, you had a rise, you had a climax, you were here, you ascended, you got here, then you fell. What's next? What's next? Everyone is meant to rise. Everyone is meant to fall. So I'm interested to see who's falling. Is it Drake or is it Cole? Because, I mean, hey, Jermaine has definitely been in this thing, almost 20 years now. 07, I think, is when the Come Up came out. So been here for some years. Now we're here.
Young Puss playing war games. He wanted love, but he only made more pain. Poor thing. Young Puss playing war games. He wanted love, but he only made more pain. Picture my soul climbing out an infinite hole. When niggas die over pride and live for the.
Picture my soul climbing out an infinite hole when niggas die for pride. Let's remember back. All right, so first let me go ahead and give y'all a little sneak peek into what's coming down the road. Okay. So what's coming down the road? I was inspired by God to enlighten those that may be the casual J. Cole fans prior to the release of the fall off of his game. Help you become familiar with his game, his bag, right? So what we're going to do over these next, I think it's 11 days, we're going to go through some projects of his, and we're gonna break it down. We're gonna talk about his lyrics. And one thing I love about Jermaine Cole, besides the fact that I feel like he speaks a lot of life in his music, is the fact that he writes his music. Him, Kendrick, Drake, 3000, Beyonce, Bruno Mars, Ed Sheeran, a lot of different artists that are very good. Rihanna, they'll take certain projects, Eminem, where they write a 5-point essay. Basically, you get an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. So we're going to go through and we're really going to dive into not only these two videos today, but his catalog, and just listen to the stories. One of my favorite stories, which I feel like has the best conclusion of any of his projects, is For Your Eyes Only. So here we are. Fall off announcement. Sounds like the intro is saying, if this is the intro for the entire project, we're understanding that he's about to tell us about the middle ground between his rise and this fall. So I'm interested to see where his roots really are from, because I feel like we might get a little bit of a deeper taste, and then also to see what he has learned after all of this time in the industry. So once again, if you like this, like, comment, subscribe, feel free to share it. Hopefully we can grow. First goal, let's get to 100. If y'all could please bless a brother with that, I would love it. Obviously I'm here to help y'all. This isn't just for me. I'm a symbiotic type guy. I don't really like being a transactional folk, because there's transactional people and there's transformational people. What I'm trying to do here is help all of us transform our mind. What does it say? Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. I can't remember if there's another part to that verse, but I think that's the verse. And that's what we're trying to do here. Transform our minds, the renewing of it. Because right now, oh my God, as we said in the intro, morality has been killed, has been stolen. So we're trying to find it again, but only can we find perfect peace if our minds are on him, Jesus, God. So thanks for listening. Catch you on the next one.